Okay, I'll go ahead now. Someone else. Oh, okay. So you'll just hand off the host, or you make me a co-host now, or how do you guys usually do it?
I'll just stop sharing and then you will be able to share.
Okay, got it. Where are my glasses? My good glasses. Oh, be right back. Just need to get my other glasses.
Okay. Everyone, we're glad you are here. We will be starting in just a few minutes. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Cindy Nellis. I am the director here at the Penn West University Clarion Small Business Development Center, and we welcome you to grow your business with AI-powered tools by Google. Artificial intelligence is a powerful technology that can help simplify business tasks and create new opportunities for small businesses and entrepreneurs. But knowing how to use it may seem out of reach. We're excited to partner with experts at Google for today's webinar, who will explain the basics of AI and how AI-powered tools by Google can help small businesses be more efficient, enhance customer experiences, and drive growth. Following today's webinar, you will receive links to many great tools, the webinar recording for today, and our SBDC presentation slides. Just a quick reminder that all participants have been muted and your video has been disabled. If you have a question for our presenter, I would just ask that you enter them in the Q&A. We will be holding all questions until the end, and we'll do our best to answer your questions today. But if we're not able, we will follow up with additional information. If you have a private question for me, your host, I just ask that you enter them in the chat. So to get started today, I'd like to give you a quick introduction to the Small Business Development Center. We are a grant-funded program with a mission to help businesses start, grow, and succeed. We provide information, education, and tools to help businesses make better business decisions. We do this through our business consulting services and our training like today. Our consulting services are provided at no cost and are confidential. We provide those services remotely by phone, in person, email, and virtual. We also offer a training events on a variety of topics that target the needs of small businesses. And just to make a quick mention, a small business to us is generally defined as a business with less than 500 employees. We also use our funding to provide access for you to database information and resources related to conducting industry and market research, financial analysis, and all of that to help you implement great marketing strategies. In Pennsylvania, the SBDC network includes 15 centers, all located at institutions of higher education. We're a part of the Americas SBDC network. It's a national network that enables individuals all over the country to access our program services right in their neighborhood. This is just our contact information. I'll be following up today's webinar with additional links for you to connect with us. Keep in mind that there is no wrong door. You're always welcome to connect with me, my center, and we'll make sure that you get connected with the SBDC right in your neighborhood. So with that, I would like to welcome and thank Katrina Turnbow Marion, a Grow with Google coach, to join us today, and I'm going to turn it over to her. So Katrina, I'm going to stop share, and that'll be great. Go ahead and share your screen.
All right, thank you. Greetings, everyone. Hold on, let me make sure you are all right. You guys are seeing my screen. Let me go ahead and hold on. Let me do one other thing before I do that.
Yes, we can see your screen now. Thank you.
All right. Do you see screen and notes, or is it just the screen?
Just your screen.
All right. Let's try this one more time. Might not do what I wanted to do on my end. You know, technology is not always a friend. Hold on, let me try it one more time. Hold on.
That looks great.
It's okay.
Yes.
Hold
now
on.
That one's not.
Okay, hold on. I just did the whole thing. So that's what happens when you're hitting too many buttons too fast and there's a little delay. So hold on, let me bring it back up. While I'm actually adjusting my technology. Hello, everyone. Greetings. Again, my name is Katrina Turnbow Marion. I'll actually put up my information. And I'm really honored to be able to be here with you guys today, to be able to just talk about AI. I know you probably have a lot of questions. Many of you may be super users, as we like to call a lot of people, and many of you may not, and that's okay. Either way it goes. This session, very much like Cindy actually mentioned, it is at an entry level with some depth there, but feel free to, okay, I think I finally got it. Yes, do not be intimidated. Please drop your questions in the chat. I can honestly tell you AI is new for everyone. And my career actually is aligned to a very similar trajectory of, oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Here finally is doing what I wanted to do. The trajectory of, okay, I think we got it now. Okay, there we go. So let me just make this big again. Okay. All right, Cindy, we good to go?
Yeah, it looks great.
All right, let me pull my screen back up. Hold on. As I was saying, yes, my name is Katrina Turnbow Merriam. I'm actually from Michigan. I'm in Detroit, Michigan right now, and I am the Michigan Grow with Google coach. We're actually one of 18, or I'm one of 18, and one of the original 9 members who actually began this work in 2017 with Grow with Google, where we were tasked to be able to go out into the community and have conversations with small business owners and brands and businesses to understand really what the digital divide looked like for them and where were some of the areas of development that was needed and support that oftentimes you were not getting. So I've been honored to be able to have this work continue with Google, over the last 8 years, which is crazy to say because honestly, the first couple of years we were like, hey, I'm just glad this work is being seen. And we had such, of course, amazing participation and feedback. It's brought us to almost a decade later. But I'm also a small business owner, such as yourself. So, founder and CEO of Canopy Social, a digital marketing boutique firm. So, I live daily the life that you all probably live in the marketing space. I understand the struggles, and I work with small businesses primarily in terms of helping them close their digital divide, but also leverage their marketing and media to help growth in their sales, because I am actually a salesperson by trade. So I'll get into some of those stories a little bit along the way. But let's go ahead and dive right in. I want to talk to you today about the introduction to AI. I think this is really important as it relates to the grounding of understanding what AI is, how it really works in our ecosystem of everything now. And then we'll go into the actual tools to support. How does this make you productive? How are you able to leverage? What does this look like in the Google ecosystem primarily, which is really important to all of us. So all right, so let's just kind of level set here. And this is our introduction to AI, right? So I want you guys to think back about 25 years ago, legitimately 25 years ago, of how the internet changed the world. That was the big first pivot. And as I mentioned briefly before, I was a part of that first pivot. So 25 years ago, I actually entered the world of internet through Comcast. At the time, it was called Comcast, and now they call it Xfinity. But I was actually on a sales team doing door-to-door sales, responsible for switching small business and homeowners over from dial-up to broadband. And that changed the trajectory of the world, what you had access to, how long you could be on the internet, if you could be on the internet and your telephone at the same time. And that was a scary time, in all honesty, in that point also, because the internet was also changing how we did work, how we connected to each other. And for those of you, even now, I was the first generation of internet jobs. So I graduated from high school in the 90s. And it's not as if I went to college and said, oh, yeah, I want to work for Google. I want to work for Facebook. I want to work for, all of these internet companies. You know why I couldn't say that? Because they weren't invented. Google did not incorporate until 1995. I was a junior in high school. So it's not like we really understood nor had that scope. Now, I was in a computer lab, don't get me wrong, and I was learning MS Basic and DOS and all those things. So for those of you who are on here who understand and remember those moments and times in life, again, I was a part of that. But my job of what it exists to in this moment today, it did not exist 25 years ago. And I bring this up because I want you all to be comfortable and confident and understand, even though AI is changing the landscape of how we do business, it allows you to be able to grow with it, right? So again, I know there's a lot of trepidation and just nervousness around AI and how it's having impact as a whole, but I can speak from experience that living through that and now having the opportunity to experience this change again in this world is actually a huge advantage for where many of you all sit, especially from when it comes from the small business lens of your previous experience or how long you've been in business. The next big change I want you guys to remember and kind of tap into, which was again my next trajectory of my career, was around e-commerce. And now we're going into how we buy and sell things online. That was a part of the big Grouponing phase. I worked actually for autotrader.com. So I was responsible for getting people to believe that buying a car online was feasible. And just think back to those days. That was such a huge purchase to be able to buy online through the internet ultimately. And then lastly, which up until the moment we are at now, smartphones. Smartphones gave us accessibility in a way that we had only dreamed of, right? Again, I remember my childhood very vaguely. I remember just being happy and excited to have a cordless phone in the house, let alone being able to have a cell phone where we are all moving about freely and having technology in the palm of our hands that is equivalent, as they say, as a NASA computer. And again, we are just evolving in that space and time. And AI is this next big shift. It is so important for you to be able to understand what AI looks like in your industry and also what does it look like for your business, because you're really not in a position where you are competing against AI. You are going to end up competing with those who know how to use AI and those who do not, right? So for those who are not adopting AI and understanding how it fits into their business, you guys are not even going to be in the same conversation, such as you are right now. The fact that everyone here today is interested in learning about AI and how it's going to impact them or what it can do to support them shows already your ability to be ahead of the curve. So, first and foremost, we want you to understand that AI is helping to solve big challenges and small challenges, right? Everything from doing a little bit of, outline and some writing down to medical, right, breakthroughs. A lot of the things that we're seeing in terms of healthcare research as it relates to AI. I'm a big environmentalist. I love, nature and it outdoors as much as possible. And even being able to do small things such as detect what are some of the diseases in trees and other things that may be causing stress in our environment. It's a really big deal. So AI, no matter how big or how small, is really poised to support these challenges and hopefully move them forward and make discoveries. So right now, as you can see here, great statistic, but 82% of small business leaders who are already using AI honestly are having positive outcomes, hopefully with income coming along with that too. And I think this report was actually done, I think, a year and a half ago. So again, every day we are all adopting it. It's in our face. It's something that you are figuring out what works for you. So let's go ahead and level set as it relates to understanding AI in terms of what it is and terms. I think these are really important as it relates to understanding what AI is actually doing in the background. So machine learning is really the umbrella of what you have as it relates. Oh, sorry about that. Machine learning is really the anchor in the core of what artificial intelligence is all about. It is you being able, the machine, our computer systems, having information, being able to process it, and from there, make decisions or deductions that allows it to be able to compile all the information and spit out, the terms or the information that you're trying to do the research on, right? Well, next, what really stands on top of that baseline are the different, we'll call them types, which number one is a language model. So language models are all about data. It's all about data coming in and being processed and data being put out. Large language models now are moving to billions and billions of data points, where now that's being synthesized, giving it a little bit more robustness in terms of how it processes the information and the complexity of which it pushes the information out. Many of us right now are simply using large language models, LLMs. And I bring that to your attention also because when you look at many tools that are being marketed in terms of an AI tool. Technically, yes, that's what it is, but it may be a large language model, but it may not be a generative AI large language model, right? Generative AI is now bringing us to the point of when you have code, visuals, imagery, you have text, you have all components and assets coming together where it has multimodality, meaning I can start out saying, create an image here's a great example. Create a logo for my business that will also go on my flyers for social media, right? Well, you took that text and then it has the capability to move it into a different type of a different type of asset, which now is going into the image asset. So now when you get into the generative part, it does have the ability to reason, it does have the ability to process information and generate something that is totally unique from the inputs that you supply during your prompting. So there are levels. So please understand that depending upon what your need is, it may be just simply a large language model that is processing millions and millions and billions of bytes of information. And then again, when you get into being able to have different types of outputs, such as audio and imagery, now you're getting into generative AI. So when you think about it, you're already using AI pretty much all across the board right now. I'm a huge YouTube watcher, to be honest with you. I watch most of my podcasts on YouTube, and down to everything from recommendations, right? AI. When you think about voice assistants and the chat bots, as we already know, some of them voice assistants, you can talk into them in natural language, very similar to us being able to speak into our phones, or chat bots that many of you already have that are related to processing orders, being able to answer frequently asked questions, where they already have some level of programming already prompted in, where it's able to give a certain response. And then after certain prompts, it goes to the next phase, whether that is now you connecting with a live human support chat or being able to set up a call. Many things such as that are all actually examples of AI. So how can Google AI help grow your business? What we're going to look at right now, or let's see if Cece is on here, but Cece of Prados Beauty, we kind of use her as a great example of just showing how AI has helped her really work smarter and more efficiently. And we use her just as the level set of being able to use an example of talking about moving your business forward and what that looks like for you. So now we're actually going to talk about some of the actual tools, the Google tools in the ecosystem, and what that looks like in terms of how AI is already integrated and how it can support your business. So not sure how many of you right now already have your Google business profile set up. Hopefully everybody on the call, but if you do not, Google business profile is what we call that first window into who you are as a business owner when someone does a search online, right? So as you can see here, we have Prados Beauty. It has the name. This is where you're able to manage your photos, videos, put in more information, add additional links. But one of the things that's really fantastic about AI is now you're able to improve your descriptions as it relates to your business. I am here to tell you, as being a digital marketer with her company, having a very, very strong description for your business is critical to you being able to be found online. As the algorithms search online to find the businesses that align with whatever your customer or that shopper is looking for, you having certain keywords and making sure that you have a clear description is really, really key to them having the opportunity to find you. So making sure that this is written well with assistance to AI is a great place, and a very simple place for you to start and understand just how powerful and supportive it can be. It will help you write a business description. It can help you review for accuracy. One of the things I like to tell people often is that as your business grows and you continue to introduce more products and more services, take the time to go back and review it and make sure it aligns with who you are as a business, what you're offering, so your description reflects your growth. As you can see here, you're clicking on the description. You're able to put something in, right? You have your general description. It will give you a suggested description. And then from there, you can use it or you can try again, which is really important. For those of you who are in the food business and not sure who is, but here is a great feature that is starting out for restaurants, but I want you to understand Google every day is expanding its features. And this type of format and its ability to create this menu for restaurants is definitely expanding itself across all industries. Every day, there's literally something new as relates to features, updates. Some of them are very minor, and you may not be able to notice unless you're using the tool all the time. And others, of course, at some point turn into a full overhaul, right? But think about your food experience right now. I don't know about you, but I love to do my Google search. I'll put in restaurants near me. And there is nothing better than being able to now go in and see a menu, clearly see the information, the prices, all of the pictures associated. Well, now AI with restaurants will allow you to take a picture, it will scan it. And as you can see, the output is actually a very well organized menu that is clickable. It actually does other interactions, but it is enhancing the overall customer experience. For those of you all who may have a menu of services, I would love for you, if you have any questions, this is an area that generally we talk through, that it may reflect, or you may be able to do the same thing in terms of services. Example, for those of you who may be in a beauty industry, who provide a menu of services, this could also very well work for your business right now and is definitely worth a try. But there is a time where, as you can see here, we used to just look at the picture, and many people still probably do. You look at the picture, you blow it up, and you're hoping to see the prices or what the description is. And now in 30 seconds, it's literally scanning the entire menu, pulling out that text. Again, AI being able to organize it, and now took it from that picture into an organized text format to again support your overall viewing and research experience. So speaking of research, sorry about that, you guys. I just switched my screen. Hold on. All right, there we go. Uh-oh, is it still sharing, Cindy?
Sorry, I had to find it. I see Jumpstart Research Projects. Yes.
Okay, very good. So let's talk about AI, Gemini, really supercharging how you take it to the next level for your business. So I am going to make an assumption that most people are now seeing AI overviews. If you did not know what that was, AI overviews is when you type in a question, or maybe you're doing a search, and what Google is able to do is synthesize information, and AI comes into the fold where it pulls out pretty much an overview, and it also links back to businesses, and it does its best to give you an answer to the question that you placed in the original search bar, right? And that could be a myriad of course, links, featured posts. And then as you can see here in this example, it's probably also going to give you some suggested sponsored content that is in alignment with that, right? AI overviews has become such a crucial and critical part now to overall search experience. And I want you guys to keep that in mind, because as a business owner, you continue to grow your business. One of the things you want to have your business also possibly be referenced by is an AI overview. that is actually a trackable metric that is available. Knowing whether or not the information that you're providing is relevant and supporting, being able to find, supporting a customer being able to find information. AI overviews is something that is not available to be bought. It is Gemini bringing all of the information together, providing the best available initial answer. And from there, you're able to continue to do research. So typically, if I was in a live environment, we would actually try this out. But at this point, we can talk about this a little bit more during the Q&A. So when it comes to being able to activate this type of research for your business, Gemini is really a great tool that has some features that are not integrated in other tools in the same way. The anchor of what makes Gemini so special is that, again, Gemini is an ecosystem tool within your entire Google workspace, right? So Gemini has the capability to not only answer as a standalone app, but it also has the power to go into your Google workspace and ecosystem and begin referencing documents, pulling out information that you can bring together in your searches. Now, here's one of the other things that's really important for you all to know. No, this information in your private workspace with Gemini is not aligned with a public search. It is private. So knowing that you can now take documentation or have documentation across your apps, right, which is Google Docs, which is Sheets, slides, and your entire Google workspace, and help it support your ideas and moving your business forward. We're talking about saving time on top of time on top of time, which everybody is short on no matter what. So having the capability for it to integrate into your ecosystem to help, really move your business forward is so important. Again, gemini.google.com is the URL, and it operates as a standalone app, right? But it also has integration within your Google workspace, and you will see it. It looks like a little bit of a star. So oftentimes we're really asked, hey, how do you really get AI to work well for me? And AI really works its best when you have the proper format in terms of developing a prompt. This is where you really begin to see how you can make AI work for you and refine and continue to expand your research or move along a project that you're already operating on. So number one, what you want to be able to do is tell it the task, right? Tell it what you're trying to accomplish. And from there, you're going to give it context, which is, I like to get people to understand context is really the boundaries that you are giving AI in order for it to understand what it should and should not be doing. I'd like to emphasize oftentimes telling AI what you don't want will definitely give it a higher quality of output. It is so important to give, boundaries, because again, it is taking in information and it is processing it and again, conducting its reasoning. So to the best of your ability, you want to be able to give it as much information as possible. And then of course, references. One of the things that I like to refer to, especially when writing or considering tone, I will actually tell it to have the tone of, or give it the educational level of high school, write it at a college, graduate level, write it at. So giving it those parameters on top of possibly references in terms of resources. It could be visual. So I will also often say, please reference the uploaded picture. This is great for those of you who may be creating social media and volume or anything like that. But being able to have references again helps it to further define and give the output closest to what you're probably looking for. Then from there, you evaluate and then you reiterate. I would actually tell you the reiteration process is very, very valuable because you begin to learn just what really works to get the best output for you. So, this is a really standard formula that does wonders in Gemini, especially. So, again, see, here are some of the things that we highly suggest as it relates to iteration. Is the framework set up right? Did you leave out any context? Is it additional context that should be brought in? Should it be said a little bit differently? Provide additional clarity. Sometimes giving it too much information may be a part of the problem where you're not getting, again, the output that you were desiring. So you may need to break it up into steps. Or oftentimes I've used this method. Please, please reiterate and ask me in an interview style, one question by question. And therefore, it's not just giving a list of all of the questions that it may need answer, trying to get, again, clarity. It gives me the ability to answer in an interview style, and then it condenses it, and then I'll have the output closer to what I was looking for. And again, different phrasing, and as I mentioned before, constraints, really important. We can try a little prompting at the end, but I just want to give you guys another example of some scenarios and what that could look like in terms of the overall layout. So again, as an experienced salesperson, what we call personas or the likenesses, these are also a very easy way for you to incorporate these, where it really supports being able to get AI to understand the type of person that is, you are trying to relate to or get the customer to connect to. So as an experienced salesperson, create a persuasive sales pitch for. The pitch should highlight benefits and features, address potential objections such as you can see, this defined formula clearly spells out exactly what you're looking for, telling it what to create based on what product or service. I would tell you guys, really being able to know the benefits and features of your product or service in AI now is critical. Understanding your value proposition, a lot of those core business information points, they really serve a great help to AI as you continue to work with it. And again, it begins to learn your style and learn your business. Another one similar but outlined in a different way is a product manager looking to have a detailed marketing plan for a new product. Write a description, identify target audiences, outline a marketing strategy. So again, the product manager, this is operating more from a research perspective and then developing strategy. So we'll keep going too, just to move past that. So as we talked about previously, Gemini is really built for multimodality again, and this is the technique that includes text, audio, and images all being in that same prompt, and it has the ability to turn into a different type of modality or form. So again, images to text, text to video, audio to video, audio to text. So any of those forms are, is an example of multimodality. When it comes to streamlining communication, let's watch this video that is really great with our own advocate, Mark Cuban.
I get 1,000 emails a day. And when I saw Smart Reply for the first time, let me just tell you, it was top 20 happy days of my life. Data drives everything. And so for a big company, small company, medium-sized company, you want something that's fully integrated, talks to each other, and learns as it goes. And that's the beauty of Gemini Google Workspace. For the pharmaceutical industry, the two things that were missing were one, transparency, and two, trust. And that's really the overall mission of Cost Plus Drugs. Simplify and transparency and be fair. So you know exactly what you're paying for and why. We were able to create a company that changed the entire pharmaceutical industry. With Google Meet, we can have a real-time conversation with multiple people in multiple countries, and it's translating for us in real time.
안녕하세요. 회의에 참석해 주셔서 감사드립니다.
It just makes it easy for any individual to manage their data life, if you will, and to connect everybody else that you work with, whether it's chat, Meet, email. Learn and save so much time that the whole definition of productivity changes. That's Google Workspace. From my perspective, there are two types of companies: those who are great at AI and everybody else.
Great. Great short video. Uh-oh, let's see. It's not moving forward. Hold on. Come on. Okay, hold on. All right. So a couple of things that I think is really important to pull from that video is really that closing statement, you know, those who are using AI and everybody else. And that really is ultimately where we are now in 2025 and what it will look like for the next, really the indefinite future. And again, it's not anything scary. It's really about how does this improve who I am, you know, what our business does, and how do we connect with our customer even more efficiently. And down to something as simple as being able to, you know, write emails faster with Smart Compose, which from a email standpoint really helps you to suggest words as you type. Smart Reply, this is probably earlier on. All of these features that you've probably seen in your Google Gmail and didn't realize that it was actually AI, right? But that's exactly what it is by definition. And it's just helping you to be a lot more productive. One of the things that I love, honestly, is the nudges. It's the third, you know, little note here. Love nudges because how many of us have gotten lost in email and then it brings to the top of your email as a reminder, did you follow up? Did you contact? Another one that is really, really great are the summary cards. I probably have been most excited about that because it brings in details such as restaurant reservations, such as flight plans and travel, where you can see that information. I think one of the things that's been most helpful in terms of my personal travel is easily being able to retrieve my confirmation number, right? All of this information is being synthesized and brought in by AI. And again, I don't use this feature as much. The tabbed inbox where it automatically separates, you know, your emails in terms of its type. Google Gemini is actually in doc sheet slides and more. Now, there is a free version, but there is a paid version, of course, that allows you to have more accessibility in terms of what it's available in. So not all features are available at all levels. So one of the things that I would highly encourage you is to definitely, if you take any link, is definitely this one, workspace.google.com/solutions/AI, in order for you to learn more about what packages and what features are included at what level. And as we prepare to round out tools, some of the things that maybe you guys are a little bit more advanced, people are running ads and also analytics, that is fantastic, is the ability for AI to help create ads. As a marketer, I am here to tell you, AI in advertising, and this is an industry technically that is threatened, or they'll say is threatened by AI, and I'm not threatened at all. I am excited because the work that it would take to create ads with imagery, in addition to that, suggesting different links and the different variations, A/B testing. Gemini now integrates with Google Ads, and it supports you being able to run very sophisticated ad campaigns with ease at an entry level. I highly encourage anyone to just go ahead and try and set up a Google Ads account. And you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to run it per se, but just seeing what it suggests. Set up a campaign, set up an ad. Because if you think about it, Google Ads, right, is a dominant advertising platform in the world. And think about all the searches that are done, all the information and context that is provided. Well, it has a pretty good idea of what people are shopping for, what are they looking for, and what they're interested in. Therefore, help AI helping to structure what would be best for your business to ultimately be seen and helping with some of those descriptions. It is fantastic. And Performance Max, for those of you who are a little bit more sophisticated, now you can also look at how this can drive better results across all Google platforms and channels. As you can see here, we're not only talking about Google search, right? We're talking about email, YouTube, Google Maps, and all of these different platforms actually have different assets and different asset sizes, and there's a lot of sophistication that goes into that. So being able to have AI support you to help you bring a campaign to life with ease now is really something that has been a game changer. For those of you who are product focused, Product Studio uses generative AI to help make custom images. I would tell you right now, as again, a digital marketer, probably graphic design and AI, down to editing, removing backgrounds, suggesting, how it will look in other atmospheres is a really, really game changer. If any of you have ever done a product photo shoot, you know how long and expensive it can be. So being able to have a core set of images and have the ability to have this type of professional looking product in multiple formats with multiple backgrounds, catering to your different audiences. Again, another game changer in terms of being able to help you be more efficient, and also give you opportunity to test out some ideas that maybe in the past you would have never had the opportunity to experiment with just because it was cost prohibitive. And my favorite, Google Analytics 4. In life, online, everything is measurable, and you should be measuring it. And Google Analytics 4 has become a lot more user-friendly in terms of having insights provided where it will actually detect trends. It will notify you of changes and even opportunities where, as you are looking at your data, once Google Analytics is set up and connected to your website and your additional platforms, it's putting you in a position to be able to look at the data from a critical eye that maybe you would have not picked up because it is automatically doing some of this work. Again, with AI, it having the ability to detect trends and understand growth is important. And again, asking questions in natural language of, as you can see here, how many users last month versus last year, right? That used to have to be a very manual thing. Well, now that information through AI is able to be synthesized and given an output to you in a matter of seconds. So recap, Google AI, as you can see, Gemini is really here to work for you as a whole. And the only way for us to do that is to really make sure that you are leveraging it, understanding it, but also being responsible with it. And that responsibility is also given the entire industry in this world of AI, the parameters and the parameters that are actually needed in order for it to do its job well. So by definition, as you can see here, AI describes the computer programs that can complete cognitive tasks typically associated with human intelligence. And Google really is standing, at the forefront of trying to be committed to building responsible products and platforms for the world, all around the world. And then from that small business standpoint, that you're going to see positive outcomes, and it's all connected to how you decide to use it for your business or service. So a couple of resources we wanted to share with you all that is actually on a single slide at the end, but if you're interested in learning some additional information on generative AI and the tools as it relates to Google, here are 2 courses on Coursera that you can take that will allow you to keep learning, and it's self-paced. There are still certificates in terms of upskilling and reskilling for your employees. So it'd be great for you to check these out where you can actually, again, self-paced courses, learn more. And then one of the things that we highly suggest is go out into YouTube and just Google Grow with Google, right? A lot of information is shared on our YouTube channel in terms of tips, updates regularly. In addition to that, please subscribe to the other Google channels, such as Google Analytics, Google Ads. There are so many Google channels where they are specifically talking about the products and services as it relates to supporting you and your overall knowledge growth. Google.com/grow is directly connected to our division of the business in terms of learning more about what we do. In addition to that, workshops all around the United States where you actually get a chance to work with and talk with a human as it relates to the business. And lastly, here are all the links for you to take a picture of, or again, we'll have these forwarded over, but for you to connect and stay connected with Grow with Google and the Google ecosystem. So we really appreciate your support today. We would love feedback. And at this time, I will close it out and open up the floor for questions.
Great. Thank you, Katrina. This was awesome information.
Thank you.
We do have quite a few questions. Let's start with the Q&A. Why does AI have so much misspelling?
So here's a little known, maybe unknown fact. So not sure how the context of what you're using it, right? But it's a well-known fact in marketing that we run advertising against misspelled words, because that is what the input that people are actually putting in. So sometimes misspellings or things like that may be a result of, honestly, millions of people misspelling it anyway, right? Or something like that. So I really I don't think there's a definitive answer for that in terms of, that's a first in terms of misspelling. But I would just suggest that, you use, and again, pay attention to AI in any output, because you are responsible to be able to move that information along and make sure that it's accurate. So I have no idea though why it has a lot of misspelled words. So I can just tell you it's a lot of misspelled words being put into Google searches and searches as a whole. And as a marketer, we run ads against some of those misspelled words because they're actually at a high enough volume that it fits in that group.
Okay. So what are the best strategies for a single business owner to use AI to grow their business? In the startup phase, there's no staff, there's no bots. Where should we focus our attention when using AI as a single business owner?
So what you first need to do is establish what area do you want to tackle first, right? Is it marketing? Is it an administrative? What is the industry, or in my word, I always say, what is the line of business? What is the category? So establish very specifically, what do you want the outcome to be related to, right? Again, marketing, sales, administrative, whatever that is for you. From there, begin, I would say, using that prompt formula of, as a product manager looking to grow my beauty business, in my case, because I'm very numbers driven, by 10%, where do I start? If I don't have any salesperson, what is the strategy, or create a strategy to help me move my business forward? So again, using that prompting formula, what are you trying to accomplish? what are the contexts, what are the references, what do I need to know, what am I trying to get out of it? And then beginning that reiteration process will actually take you very far very quickly. I would also probably highly encourage you to lean in terms of, again, that research aspect. Ask the question, act as a researcher, and pull out the top 10 reports as related to X in this industry. Start there, and you definitely should have a plethora of creativity, to be honest with you, to come from that to really support your next steps.
Okay, so there's a question. I currently subscribe to Google Workspace, but I don't know where to start learning it or how to start using it. Any suggestions?
So if you are subscribed to Google Workspace, a couple of things that you are already doing. You are already using it if you're using Gmail, if you are using Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, any of those applications. That's actually what the Google terminology is for each individual component, is an application. I would actually highly suggest you go in to YouTube and start with how to use application to do X. And then from there, you'll start getting the AI recommendations as it relates to the keywords and what you continue to search. In addition to that, you should just go on Google. If you just type in Google like Workspace, right, there are a significant amount of Google focused tutorials, from the company to tell you how to use every platform. Again, on YouTube, if you subscribe to all of the different application channels, there are constant updates about the new features, how to, use it more effectively, and just as things emerge. So again, you're probably already using it, but to increase your skill set and knowledge base, of course, just doing more research and trial and error.
Great. John says, when you say it's important to have a good description of my business in Google Business Profile, is that only for potential customers and clients that use Google, or is it also applicable or perhaps help with people that may search with the Microsoft Edge browser or others as well?
Okay, so two different things, just so you'll understand the structure. A browser is where you type in information. I use Chrome. I use one other from time to time when I have to turn into a web designer for decoding, right? And I can even do that in Chrome. So I primarily use two browsers. For those of you who use your cell phone, you can look at whether or not you use Safari as a browser, or do you use Chrome, or whatever case. So a browser is literally kind of like the entry, we'll call that the street of being able to interact online. And then we'll call Google Business Profile, no matter the browser, when you type up and that browser, the Google Business Profile pulls up that information, we'll call that the house, right? A house is the foundation, is the first thing you see when you go down the street with the address and you look at the house. Well, Google Business Profile is the house. If you think about it this way, it has a phone number, hours, description, photos, reviews, links. You really actually oftentimes don't even have to click on the website itself in order to get a lot of information at a baseline level that you may have been looking for, right? So when you go then into and click down into that, now you're into the application. So a browser and Google Business Profile are two separate things.
Okay. Matthew asks, what can I do on my website to position my information for AI overview? Put it in FAQs or blog posts, or another suggestion?
All of the above. So always think about your website now. This is actually very important because the industry, it is changing with AI. So it is very important that your blog your website has a pulse, and you can create a pulse of your identity of your business through long form content, YouTube, blog posts, short form posts too. But think about it this way. If I asked a question and it was pretty, significant in terms of the information that I was trying to gather, and the only thing on the internet was surface level answers, but you are the one business that answered the question at a graduate level, and someone needed a graduate level answer, and you were the only person who provided that level of answer, there's a high likelihood that when AI overviews is sourcing and compiling the information, that you will possibly come up. I do want to give a disclosure. Google has hundreds of signals. It is proprietary. I have no idea what actually makes someone come up in an AI overview. However, it does help that you are an expert in your industry and you develop as much content around your business and your industry to have a higher likelihood of being able to be seen or referenced for all questions out there. And yes, FAQs is a great way to be seen as an authority. So creating more content allows you to be seen as an authority in your industry. And I highly suggest you go a few layers deeper than just surface level. You really, at this point in the business world of competition, you really want to be able to stand out and say you are a thought leader, you are an expert in, you have 150 answers to one question that maybe someone only has two. Example, I live in a historic home in Michigan. If I could find somebody right now who loved doing plaster, oh, we would be in business. Finding people who still work on radiators, whoo, struggle, right? So think about what in your industry do you have expertise that maybe be a skill set that is dying off, hard to find, knowledge that only came from experience. And that's the other thing I really want to say, the human side of me, right? Please do not discredit the 35 years of experience you have. Please do not discredit everything that you have learned your entire life, because it matters. Those unique experiences oftentimes are not going to be generated from AI. They will only be known because a human had an interaction. You had a feeling. You had that experience that allowed you to know. Here's a good one, because I think about my grandfather fixing his truck, right? My grandfather knew how the engine wasn't right by sound, certain clicking noises. There are things in your industry that you only know because of the history that you have as an expert. So I highly encourage everyone, again, as you lean into and understand AI, one of the best formulas of combining all of that together, honestly, is your personal experience, because people are looking for people who have uniqueness and someone they can trust. Just because you provide information, as we all have learned, it does not mean it's the truth. And you do want to make sure that what you're providing is trustworthy, truthful. And again, when they call you, you can be seen as the expert. And I am here to tell you all that right now, in the age of how search is occurring, it is truly changing small businesses who have skill sets. Again, legacy, I call them legacy skill sets. If you are in any type of restoration of anything, again, old homes, old cars, any of those, construction, a lot of those skill sets, long form video content, phenomenal. When I tell you, you are doing a phenomenal job online and the algorithms are looking for you, you are in a great position. So, in this time of learning AI, take some time and do some reflection on who you are as a business and what makes you unique, and celebrate that. and put that out in the atmosphere of your expertise and your knowledge. It will take you far.
Thanks, Katrina. We'll just take a few more questions. The next one is for an individual who's asking about Gemini's ability. They're deaf and it's time consuming to do the caption from their ASL video. So they're looking for some way to produce text from signing in ASL for caption for people who do not know ASL. So can Gemini do that?
I actually have never had that question posed to me, but what I will do is take that back because I know that there is an answer. And I will follow up with Cindy and SBDC because I actually would like to know. That is, thank you for asking that question and bringing, again, something that needs to be considered and thought of for in its entirety of being inclusive, because that's what we stand for. So again, Cindy just read it, and I will actually take that back to Google and we will get an answer for you and make sure that it is referenced well and thoroughly thought out. And to be honest with you, I look forward to even diving in deeper because I think that's something that needs to be talked about and discussed at a larger perspective. So I do not have an answer at this time, but we will follow up with SBDC Pennsylvania, and we will get that answer to you. Thank you for asking.
And the next question, is there a cost to use Product Studio or is it included inside another Google product that is purchased?
Oh, no, Product Studio is inside of when you actually go in and you begin crafting the images or whatnot in Google Merchant Center, which is free, and also Google Ads. So it does interact. You will be able to, it'll give you the parameters of what it can and can't do.
Can this Google AI help get your business in front of the right people? They say it's frustrating that you get positive responses but lack purchases.
So that's more strategy. Search and all platforms are all designed, advertising are all designed to get you in front of the right consumer group. But it's your responsibility to understand who your consumer group is and what platforms to use and all of those things. So it's a lot of work on your end in terms of aligning yourself. And that goes back more to, you have to understand your customer and your community. When you are connected to your customer and community, you know how to talk to them, you know how to understand their needs, and you have to create continual lines of two-way communication for them. So not responsibility of the search engines, right? That is definitely, let's look at our business as a whole and let's figure out what works best for us and what are the tools and strategies that we need to use in order to begin growth in our sales. However, Google Gemini is a tool that can help you do research to support that growth, right? So that's a great area to start the conversation with Gemini in terms of moving strategy forward and maybe even generating ideas.
So 2 more questions. What criteria does Gemini use to recommend the best answer in its search results? What criteria does Gemini use?
I can't say that I know we'll say the specific criteria, but what it is using, of course, is the signals, of course, as it relates to what was the question, what is it connected to, all of those different things. So again, we can't say it uses these 5 things because that's not, that is furthest thing from being the only factor. Here is an example of factors that we do know. Depending upon the state that you live in, right? It will reference something local versus something national, depending upon the keywords that you will use. So again, that goes back into you as a business owner, making sure that the information that you have placed and connected to your business, such as that description out of Google Business Profile and the depth of information on your website to support being able to be found and is connected to the industry that people are, again, searching for. So no, I can't give you a, here is the 10 things that you should say, but focusing on showing up online with the best clarity and value proposition. And again, connecting with customers that align to the product and industry that you're aligned with.
And before I give you your last question, we do have someone who may have contractors for you, and they're from Detroit. So I'll pass.
Oh, I
along
saw
your-
that. Dr. Sheila
Yeah.
Person. I know
Yes.
sometimes that might be able to assist. I am from Detroit, got my doctorate from U of M. Well, hello, I would love to connect.
And then finally, what is the security framework that Google AI uses to protect company data and individuals' company data?
Again, your company data is stored and privately protected within the Google Worksphere. So it is not a public search with your data. Your data is stored within your ecosystem. And with Gemini, when you are conducting your searches and the work that you're doing, as it relates to that, it is only connected to your data. So it is not using your data to train other, information or whatnot. It is totally privacy related. Oh, okay, Sheila, I see you put your information. Okay, got it.
I had two questions early on today, and we'll finish with these two questions. They're kind of related. There were two comments in chat that says, I have a mobile notary business. Can I add my price schedule for each type of notarization? And then the second one is, I'm a very small business. I sell 3 canned products, and I'm out there in a lot of farm stores and other farm markets. Would this benefit me? I guess two different questions, but.
So yes, I would say in terms of the notary business, please, add that on as a price list. Here is a feature on Google Business Profile that is very important for my businesses that oftentimes do farmers markets and other things that may not have maybe a home-based business, but you're out in the community. There is a feature on Google Business Profile that allows you to create events. Therefore, if you create an event underneath your profile, it becomes searchable. It also then allows you to move your business around where you are, right? So you may not be able to claim the location of the farmer's market. However, you can put every scheduled date of your event in Google Business Profile. It is a great way to be able to have a unique URL that you can connect to other platforms and share with your community. And think about it. You put it in Google Business Profile, it's an event, it's connected to Google. Guess what you can do? Get directions. So again, leveraging the ability of the platform to support the growth of your business through visibility.
Awesome. Well, Katrina, thank you so much for your time today, your expertise. We look forward to future Google events as we partner together, but I'm going to close out today just thanking everybody for being with us. You will receive an evaluation request, and the Small Business Development Center asks that you complete the evaluation. It's not that long, and it does help us to know what you liked and what we can improve on and what you'd like to see in future events. So with that, again, thanks everyone for being with us. I will be sending out the recording, my slides, and Katrina's links, and we will connect again another day. So thanks, Katrina. Thanks, everyone. Have a great one.
Thank you. Cindy, do I need to send you, or do you want me to put it here in the chat?